Hi, so this is going to be the reflection video for the app as well as some constraints that we ran into while implementing it. So, one of the first constraints would be this. So, let's just say for ER55, what this actually covers is this entire street from Fowler Street as well as this entire area here. Ideally, what should happen is we should have something to highlight this area to show that this entire place is actually ER55. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a good way to do that properly, so that was not implemented. That's one constraint that happened while during implementation. Another one is actually doing construction. I guess one good way, not good way, but one way we could do it is just by, I think it would really require highlighting again, as mentioned before, which we couldn't find a good way to implement, would be to highlight that this entire area and then putting a sign or something like this, and a notification like this that tells you this area is under construction. As for stuff that we implemented, for instance, for the class schedule, the design of this was mainly just, finding the best parking spot by taking where the beginning of your class is. The reason why this was wrong was because of this. So it would average out where your beginning of your class is as well as where your day ends, and then finds the best parking spot there. So here it just says this is likely your best, which is hopefully somewhere in the middle between those two places that you entered for your class schedule. And then it would also average it out for, let's just say I have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays in Schiller as well. Then it would average all of this out. So it's just, all it is an average. Something that we meant to add that was not added was, actually sorting it by a different place would just gonna be sort by maybe closest to where your day begins, or sort like the closest parking lot to where your day ends, or any other sort of spots like that, as well as showing maybe something along the lines of how full, like permit wise, how many permits are still available at this area is something we couldn't have done either. We could have used synthetic data, but this overall was not implemented. So those are some of the biggest constraints of our current setup, as well as maybe certain bug fixes, and such as, let's just say, this bottom card here just shows the last available, not the last lot that you are focused on, which may or may not be something that should be shown. Instead, maybe let's just say I'm just browsing the map, maybe this shouldn't show at all. So these are other designs to be thought about that was not the main focus of the first prototype we made. I think that's mainly it for the current reflection. Those are the biggest troubles that we ran into. As well as one other thing that should be mentioned is maybe also having a key to show how these are decks or they're indoors, and these are outside. It was mentioned in the video, but maybe it wasn't as clear for someone who's never used this before. So I think that's mainly it. And this one isn't very accurate, so yeah. So there's gonna be a little more work that should be done to flesh out some of these, as well as also limitations, as mentioned in the earlier video, of capacity and stuff like that. Yeah. Then this currently uses not real location. This is also synthetic location, but if you're using this in the real world, this will actually grab your GPS location. Aside from that, one other thing that may or may not should be fixed is how cluttery this is. Right now we just have it show everything. Maybe this shouldn't be as cluttery. It should show, for instance, the main parking spaces people park at, which is just CRC and student center and stuff like that, and then show more as you zoom in, because this definitely does look a little too cluttered. That's another something that we need to think about in the future, as well as, this is currently showing Scheller because this was the last search location. This isn't perfect either. So once I'm out of Scheller, it shouldn't really be showing this either. So these are just design flaws that we currently have. Thank you.